Welcome, everyone, to another session of the Half-Rate Heroes. Thanks for joining us tonight. Our heroes are hot on the trail of a pilgrimage of sorts of their own, and they are traveling along the road in the slowest and most mundane way that they have in a while. For a very specific purpose. And what's that purpose, guys? Why are you on the road right now?
We got to go find me Nos.
Yeah. Our beloved hobgoblin friend Nos fell in battle a couple sessions ago. And through divinations, Kale had discovered that there is someone who is key to Nos's freedom, bringing Nos back, and that person was on the road between. That person was on the road between Westgate and on his way towards Neverwinter. So the party get on the road from Neverwinter and start making their way down towards Westgate, which is where Nos is from. Now, the road from Neverwinter to Waterdeep was fairly uneventful, we should say. The party met a dragon. It wasn't happy with its meeting with the dragon. They did kill his favorite servant and annoy this shadow dragon. They did beat the Shadow Dragon, but the Shadow Dragon got away, eager to reclaim its revenge at a later date and follow the party wherever they were going. We ended last week's session with you guys resting in the city of Waterdeep after doing some shopping and getting to know the area a little bit more. But we'll pick up from there. If there's nothing else that you need to do in the city of Waterdeep, we can then the road south, leading through Daggerford and towards Eltergard, is before you.
There's one more thing before we leave, gents. Back in Neverwinter, from that Leosin fella, I got this kit that allows you to pick locks. Well, I haven't really given it a lot of practice, so before we leave, I'm gonna just pick up some locks from one of these general stores, so I can practice that on the road. So if you guys if I'm the only one buying anything, I'll just go grab those and be right back. Does anyone need anything else?
2 large saddlebags for my recent purchase of a camel.
Mm-hmm.
I'll need them at least this long and at least this thick on each side.
Got it. All right. Well, then I'll just pick those up real quick.
Fantastic.
I buy 100 gold pieces worth of locks and 2 saddlebags for camels.
All right. So you've got 2 camels?
1 camel. Camel din
One
Diaz.
Right. Yes. The camel that is inspiration for that one died this past week.
Oh.
Okay, so should I retroactively change the name of the camel?
Absolutely
No, you're
not.
welcome to keep it. Nope, keep it.
The spirit lives on.
Yeah.
It was replaced by a snake called Snake Gyllenhaal. So, all right. So you buy some saddlebags and your equipment. Playing with those locks. We've discussed this previously. Over the course of your downtime, you can figure out how to use the thieves' tools properly. Does anyone in the party have proficiency in thieves' tools?
I sort of do. I can have it for 10 minutes per channel divinity.
Right. So if you were willing to use your channel divinity on a regular basis to assist Lafcadio in his training, then that will speed things up for him.
Sure. Yeah. So I imagine. I mean, we have a cart, right?
Mhm.
So like, while the horse is here pulling the cart, we could just sit back there, and I can do channel divinity twice, and then rest a little bit, and then do it again. I can do it like 4 times a day, maybe, to get like almost an hour of solid training in. But it'd be cool if it was cool if you, Kale, would be interested in continuing to try and do this stuff after the channel divinity wears off, so that he can actually learn it for all time.
Cool. All right. So the two of you work together on that for this journey. Okay. Anything else you guys would like to do in the city of Waterdeep before you hit the road?
Nothing in particular. I do have a little housekeeping thing just for your information, Teo.
Yeah.
So my horse, we established it was a draft horse. I decided because you let me pick.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Edra, and she came with some splint barding, and I'm going to be casting aid on her, myself, and Taslin at 4th level every day.
Nice. I feel help.
Okay.
That's
Fair enough. At first, your horse is going to be very skittish around you, with you casting magic on it on a regular basis. Eventually, it'll calm down and be used to it, but at first, it seems a little scared of magic.
It doesn't understand your language. I was wondering if I could suggest to her that she needs to chill to make the process go faster. But she doesn't know what I'm saying. She'll figure it out. She'll be fine.
Yeah, and she will. Just needs time. Okay.
Sounds good.
Kel, I've been thinking about this for the last 5 seconds. Perhaps we should get a book before we leave on this dragon. If it's going to chase us and howl at us every night.
I'm not overly concerned with it, to be perfectly honest.
Then neither am I.
I suppose before we leave, though, I'll want to grab some ingredients for a legend lore spell. I think that was just spell consumes. So I have the ivory strips because I've cast it before. I just need 250 gold worth of incense. So I'm just going to go ahead and buy 100 platinum worth of incense. So I just have a shitload of it forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, 4 uses of it.
4 uses legend lore, yeah, but I use it for a bunch of other crap too.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. So at some point during the journey, I assume shortly after we leave, probably on the first day before I set up my temple for the night, I will legend lore Nerhan Vane.
Okay. So, the legend lore spell just gives you pretty much just all my notes, right?
Yeah. I suppose.
The spell brings to your mind a brief summary of the significant lore about the thing you named. The lore might consist of current tales, forgotten stories, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. If the thing you named isn't of legendary importance, you gain no information. The more information you have about the thing, the more precise and detailed the information you receive is. Okay. So, the first time you cast this, asking about Neron Vein, immediately your mind is filled with this vision of a black dragon being somewhat caught in the middle of a elemental warfare. The black dragon, Neron Vein, back when it was alive, was caught between dragon cultists that wanted control over its lair, and elemental priests that wanted to restore the land to its primordial state. That sounds familiar. Neither one, but both ruined his lair to the point of twisting the black dragon and his mind and his home, just ruining it for all time. The process of ruining it ended up banishing Naronvain to the Shadowfell for what seemed like an eon for himself, and that's what made him what he is, a shadow dragon.
It's kind of sad he got banished. It wasn't really his fault he became a shadow dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But started off as black dragon, so screw him.
Yeah. He's evil either way. It's just two other evil entities turned him into something differently evil.
Alright. That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Okay.
If you shared that information with us, Kale, did you also happen to catch where its lair was?
Oh, we know it. I mean, not specifically, but we know it's in the Sword Mountains somewhere. And I'm sure, like, that was a well-traveled road we were coming down when we got accosted by that priest, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say you were accosted so much as...
We were viciously attacked and defended ourselves, and there's no one that can prove otherwise who is alive. So I imagine like that's like a well-traveled route that goes into this huge city where a lot of trade happens. So I feel like Waterdeep people know about this dragon, right? So that's up to them. That's a problem for their city, really, and we're not here to solve everybody's problems. So they know about it. If they don't want to do anything about it, then sucks to be them, I guess. I don't know.
That makes sense to me. If we're not being paid for it, why do it?
There are reasons to do things, even though you're not being paid, Dazlin.
Right.
Sorry, let me
I'm going to remember that the next time you try to make the argument to an NPC, you should do this for free for the greater good, okay?
You're right. I should rephrase that. Unless we're being paid or our lives are directly threatened because of this.
Or we could also act in the defense of others. There's common defense. There's lots of reasons to do things for folks.
And normally I'd be all for it, right? But we have another goal, and I don't know how much time we have.
Indeed,
Clearly,
we should set up. We've wasted far too much time. We are well prepared.
Let's get back on our mission to get Nos back.
Awesome.
All right. I'll climb aboard the wagon and I'll tie the camel's tether to the wagon, and then I'm gonna climb on into the wagon.
Okay. So in terms of your little caravan, you have a draft horse and a camel, and you guys are all riding in a wagon being pulled by the draft horse, right?
Well, did we were all
had
given
the
horses
two
on the way
horses.
out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wampum's riding.
Wampum's riding. Okay. Cool. So, leaving Waterdeep, the road that you go by is known as the Tradeway. And it is known as such because there is regular merchant caravans that travel back and forth. Now, you're not traveling on a day in which there is a large caravan making its way, but it's a very well-traveled area, such that you become aware of the details of this specific route. The tradeway from Waterdeep to Baldur's Gate is used twice a month, once there and then once back. Just regular groups of merchants just traveling back and forth along the road. And they make established stops along the way. So 2 days away from Waterdeep is the small city of Daggerford, and that is your first stop. Daggerford is a small space, a very small village. It's on the edge of a river, and as you approach this small village, it doesn't seem to be anything special compared to much else. It has a large manor that seems to loom over the top of everything, and a lot of merchants are currently selling their trades and doing work, spending some time in the little village. There is, as you walk through, a bit of a excitable tone by a lot of people, as they're all sharing stories of the weird goings on, and you get the opportunity for one of the first times to overhear people who are completely unaware of your assistance in the fixing of the problems that you've had, the elemental calamities that we're facing. These people are talking about it, about the incidences that happened, the shadow creatures that would attack regularly, or the moments where the elemental planes crossed over for but a few days. You get this opportunity to listen to things from a completely different perspective, as they don't know that you're the heroes that saved the day. And so you start actually hearing that a lot of people around here were unhappy when, or at least in Daggerford, when all those portals closed. In fact, there's a traveling storyteller, a bard that has set up a temporary shop inside the tavern within Daggerford, and that is telling great tales of wicked adventures that he had, jumping through the portals as they began cropping up within the area. And because the portals were closed, he lost people in that moment. But is always planning on returning to those plains to rescue his loved ones and his friends. And then he starts asking for coin for help to be able to fund his next trip to the elemental plane.
I'll say, hey, I can take you there right now.
The storyteller looks up at you and what do you mean? It's
I have some God-given powers, and I know the prayer to move between planes. Which plane do you need to go to?
Let me get back to you on that's a wonderful offer. I wouldn't want to deprive these people of their opportunity to help and be charitable. So I will continue to let these people help me, and we can talk later.
Okay, I'm just saying, and I'll pronounce this really loudly. I'm just saying, you don't need any money to get to another plane of existence. I can take you there for free right now. At any time, really.
Roll a persuasion check.
11.
Okay. You may not have convinced him you're capable of doing such a thing, but you've certainly got the crowd peaked that are talking about this. Couple voices start whispering in that tavern. Yeah, why doesn't he could just take him? Let him. Yeah, go on another great adventure. Tell us the great tales. That's going to scare this guy quite a bit. He'll drop everything and run, and start running out.
Brave individual, wasn't he?
I'm surprised no one tripped him.
As he runs out, I'll just hold up my drink and just cheer and just sit back down.
The people of that tavern will immediately begin to sort through his collections hat to reclaim their coin that they had already given him. Right, but the rest of your stop off within the city of Daggerford is uneventful, to say the least.
Is Daggerford like? I mean, I think I passed through here on my way up to meet these fine fellows. But is there anything significant about Daggerford that would make us want to wait here and examine or explore the town? Like Waterdeep, that had everything that you could ever imagine. And so there's a reason to stick around there for a bit. But is there anything special about Daggerford, mates?
I don't know anything about this place.
Not that I can think of.
I mean, I've never been before, and I'd like to interview some of the people around here to get their perspective on the recent calamities. But as far as the rest of you go, I don't think there's any particular reason for you guys to stick around.
I think we need just to continue on to get to Minas.
Indeed.
Other than a wild party which regularly happens at the Happy Cow Tavern, run by Coggin and Lily Hardcheese, there isn't really much that goes on in Daggerford these days.
Okay, well, I'll let everybody know before we leave. Like, I'm gonna be every night I'm doing this, but I'll just let people know since they're around. But every night I set up the temple to Denier for 24 hours, and then I'll leave a sign there that says this temple will expire, at an hour after sundown or whatever, 24 hours after I summoned it. But it invites everybody to come in and rest who is good, and it opposes, fiends and undead and fae and whatever
Do I
else
count as
besides
fae?
celestial.
No,
You can just have fae ancestry.
That's true.
Because I do too.
On the topic of things that might not actually be a problem that you need to solve, roll an insight check while you begin making it publicly known that you have this temple that people can visit.
19.
Okay. So you're only going to stay in Daggerford for a day at most, but you set it up at least for your sleeping arrangements. You start mentioning to people that this temple is available, and almost immediately after you do so, the local priestess, the Duchess of the town, who lives in the manor on the top of the hill that's slightly separated from the party, who is well known amongst the city as Morwen Daggerford, starts actively trying to instruct people that they don't need to go into some stranger's temple. As good as I'm sure you are, and as nice of a person you are, we have our own temples and shrines. We don't need your own.
Okay.
And your insight will actually reveal to you that the reason why is she feels increasingly uncomfortable around your temple.
She feels uncomfortable around my temple, or like about it?
As in, this Duchess is one of those creatures that can't enter your temple.
Oh. Well, she doesn't have to come in.
No, I know, but this is something you learn about this town, is that it is run by someone who can't enter your temple.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be fae or fiend or something. I will jot that down and worry about it later. But it doesn't seem like the town's doing poorly or anything, right? Like, everybody seems to be doing fine.
The town's doing a fantastic job. It's actually very prosperous.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I will just note that mentally, and I'll say, well, you don't have to come. Nobody has to. I'm not trying to force anybody or convert anybody. I'm just saying if you happen to leave town tonight and you want to stay in a temple to Denir, everybody's welcome to come, as long as they aren't one of those types of creatures.
Fair enough. Okay.
Cal, mate, you're a stand-up fella.
Thank you.
Happy to know you.
I'm glad to know you too.
Oh, was it my turn to say a compliment?
I wasn't gonna.
That's it.
All right.
I'm good.
So, continuing on with your path at hand, the travel out of the city of Daggerford, you head down the tradeway on the in the southeasterly direction. The travel takes you through and well, not through, but right next to the high moor. So the land takes on a bit of a less than fresh tone over the next couple of days as you start traveling past swamplands and area that's just got this almost constant pungent fragrance to it that reminds you that this isn't the clean environments that you've been traveling over before. This is natural ground and life around here. 5 days in to your travel from that point on, so you've had plenty of time to be practicing with your thieves' tools.
So
Yeah.
this is 5 days after we left Waterdeep?
This is 5 days after you left Daggerford. So all in all, it's been 7 days since you left the city.
Okay.
Of Waterdeep.
All right. During that time, I would have grabbed the charcoal and burned it to create my familiar.
Yeah. What kind of familiar do you summon?
Well, I was going to say a cat, but I think it's more fitting to have a raven.
Okay.
So I guess I'll have a raven this time.
All right. Anything special about your raven?
What
What is so special about this? Because Find Familiar does more than just summon a pet.
Yeah, it does. So he would definitely be a fiendish raven, or sorry, fae would probably be what it would be. So, so he's tied to the Shadowfell like Taslin is. His feathers are like a little bit of shadowy at like the ends of the feathers. He's got like beady orange eyes.
Okay. Does he have a name?
Yeah, Ikraz. That's Ikrazz.
Ikraz. Okay. All right. So this entity, this fey creature from the Shadowfell.
Yep.
You summon into the material plane, and in the process, it takes on the physical form of a raven for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so that I know, what are your what is the standard operating procedures of you with your familiar? Is the raven always there unless otherwise said so? Is it unsummoned unless otherwise mentioned?
Yeah, so I can dismiss my familiar into a pocket dimension where it can wait my summons. Or I can dismiss it forever if I wanted. As an action, while it's temporarily dismissed, I can cause it to reappear in any occupied space. I can't have any more than one.
I know what you can do with the Find Familiar.
Yeah.
I'm asking, what does Taslin do as just regular? For example, if you were to be sprung up and attacked while you're traveling, is the familiar already there, or is the familiar not already there?
I would say it's already there, unless specifically was dismissed. Taslin would probably just have it kind of circling overhead over the little caravan as we travel, so that he can use its vision when needed.
Okay. All right.
And he would have it fly about 90 feet above so they can communicate with it telepathically.
All right. Okay. So on this particular occasion, you get the added benefit and bonus of having a flying creature give additional sight and additional range on your planning and your vision. Ahead of you, a couple days ahead of you still, is a large castle structure. This castle structure is up against the edge of the swamplands of the High Moors, and right at the end of the main road. In fact, the road itself cuts right through the center of this castle in an archway-like situation and cuts through. The Grand Castle is a large stone-like structure that is it's built with on the edges, on both the left and the right side of this castle, there are stone towers that have extra little portions of towers attached to the edges of which that it almost causes the outer ring to look like it bows out like dragon wings. The center of which is also a high spired system of towers, and thus providing this castle with its name, Dragon Spear Castle. So you're a couple days ahead of Dragon Spear Castle. The road does cut through and passes beyond, but as you're approaching, you see a large caravan of travelers headed towards you, and they cross by you. This large caravan consists of about 5 covered wagons, each with traveling jesters and merchants and people that bards and the like are all headed your way, singing happy tunes and having a grand old time exploring the tradeway road towards your camp. Do you engage with these people in any particular way?
Sure. I mean, I'd ask them what news do they have of the road ahead?
Okay. So the news that they share is mostly that of the success of Baldur's Gate and how it's being prosperous this time of year, and just that everything people are doing well since the calamities and the portals were closing, but people are in high spirits because of the work that is to be had up north. They're all excited to go up to Waterdeep because they've heard rumor that there's lots of repair work that needs doing up near Waterdeep and Neverwinter, and plenty of reason for travelers and merchants to make quite a lot of coin. Roll perception or insight checks from any of you.
12 on insight.
19 for perception.
18 perception.
Passive's a 23.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In amongst all of the conversations, the general chit chat, the things that aren't that impressive or important, that really make much of a difference, you do hear a few pieces of information that really draw your attention, and that is that this caravan consists of a moving temple to Tymora.
Yeah, I was going to ask if they had a priest or priestess of Tymora.
Yeah. And so, oh well, yeah, we have a wagon that's designed specifically to be a moving temple.
That is fascinating, and I would love to check it out.
So, heading glad to have people that are interested in the temple. These people show you around to this large covered wagon. The covered wagon is not too big. At a crouch, you could probably uncomfortably fit, I should say, 3 people in the back of it. That's pretty much it. But like you may see in like movies or stories of like the kind of people that it's really hard to get the words out on this, and I do apologize. Have you seen Sweeney Todd? Okay.
Yeah.
The barber that is selling his wares out of the back of a wagon. It's effectively that sort of wagon here. As they bring you around the back, they start unfolding huge pieces of the open top that the covering that then shows off different images and prayer instructions and lots of they more or less unfold this temple into an open courtyard for someone to then worship Timora and at this little fountain that they have inside the wagon without having to need to actually go inside. But once all filled up, one person can stay inside, and that is the priest of Timora. The priest that they have with them is a fairly older individual. This fellow, quite tall, greyed hair, a smile on his face as he's happy to have people interested in his temple. He actually asks you what news of the world north.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell him all the general info stuff, like here's what was going on in Waterdeep. Past Waterdeep, there's the Shadow Dragon. Watch out for that. And in Neverwinter, there's actually been a change of rulership going on because the old guy is gone now.
What's he know of me, Nos?
What?
Yeah, so we've actually been searching for a priest of Timora, like yourself.
Well, luck's on your side. You found me.
It would seem so. I don't know that it's you specifically, but we recently lost a friend of ours in a battle, and she was a staunch adherent to Timora's teachings and had actually been blessed in several ways by Timora. And we were told that we would find a priest of Timora on the road between Neverwinter and Westgate, and that they would have the fate of our friend in their hands.
So, what's he know of Nos the Red?
Nos the Red, okay.
Does he have anything in his hands, literally?
This priest right now?
Yeah.
Trying to think. Not right now. If there's something specific you're looking for, let me know what that is, because I might be completely oblivious to the key points that you're looking for.
Well,
Nos's fate.
Oh. No, the name sounds familiar. There aren't too many well-known people of Nos. Yeah, that sounds. Can you tell me a little bit more about this Nos person? hold on 1 second. He'll then whistle over to the caravan driver and say, I'm going to hold off here for a little while. You guys can continue on. I might catch up with you, but I'll push my wagon when I'm done here. You guys can move along. And so that rest of the caravan does do that very thing. They start heading out. He pulls out some foldable chairs and lets you all sit down, and he'll pull out a big bottle of rum and pour each of you a glass. So what can you tell me about this Nos person?
I will gesture to Wampum to do that.
Well, she be hobgoblin type. She be one good warrior. She be. I met her up in Luskin. She was helping me hunt down some individuals, some nasty drow that had done some awful wrong things to me family, you see. Now, we had finished up this, for lack of a better word, this hunt for this drow. And the very last fight, she was disposed of in a river of lava. And,
Disposed of?
well, from what I understand, she was she fell in battle, and then they kind of kicked her off the pedestal into the lava.
Mm.
So with Kale being a very strong following of Denier, he was able to talk to Denier. And Denier said that we be meeting up with you, and you be knowing the location of me Nos.
Well, if your Nos is dead, then the location is she's with Timora.
No, that's not what Denier be saying.
Well, clarifying statements here, briefly. I was told that her fate was in the hands of a priest of Timora, who is here on the material plane. So she may be with Timora, or she may be somewhere else. It's difficult to say because her fate is still apparently up in the air.
So, what you be knowing?
Right now, off the top of my head, I don't know. But hey, let's tarry here for a bit. It's getting late. Let me do some prayers to Timora, and then I'll tell you everything I can once I know the situation from the horse's mouth.
Okay. Well, I'm going to set up some shelter nearby. If you want to hang out in there, you're welcome to.
If you keep offering rum, I'd like to stay here.
Thanks, but some private rituals that need to be taken care of.
Wampum will walk over to Lithcardio. Hey, he's saying the god's a horse?
It's possible. It's possible. It's not what I've heard. I think they call her the Lucky Lady. I guess the species is kind of assumed. I might have, based on my own prejudice, assumed it was some sort of like humanoid form. But you're right. It could just as easily be like a horse. Like people bet on horse races, and like if you're lucky, they like praise Lady Luck. Maybe it is a horse. I don't know.
I don't know me Nos be worshipping no horse.
Horseshoes are considered to be lucky.
That's true.
Okay, I guess me be knowing something new then.
Okay. So you set up your little camp for the night, and he kind of closes up his shop and begins doing his rituals for the evening. Wampum, you've got the highest passive perception, and you're the most invested in all of this. Not long after he kind of closes up his shop and you guys start setting up the camp, I can imagine you're still eager to know what he knows. So almost lingering near his wagon, waiting for his prayers to finish.
Mm-hmm.
You start to hear him cry.
And I'll peek in the wagon.
You see this man in a completely different light now. Alone. He's knelt down inside of his place, his hood clean off, tears streaming down his face. In front of him, lying on his bed, appears to be a glaive with some carvings along the side that you can clearly read. Include the name Nos on the edge of it, and he's just heartbroken.
I'm gonna enter the wagon.
Sorry, praise.
Where ye be getting that weapon? That be Nos's weapon. Where ye be getting it?
Well, she's never actually had this weapon yet. I had it made for her.
And who? So fill me in here. Ye be knowing more than ye be saying.
My name is Ryman, and as much as she might not have said so, I don't know. I took care of her. To me, Nos is as much my daughter as she is a great warrior. This was supposed to be a gift when I saw her. It is sad news to learn one's child has passed on.
She be much my kin as she be anybody's, and she never said anything about ye. How come?
I don't. We had a bit of a falling out.
That's not too far-fetched to believe. So, what'd you do to piss her off?
You do know her, don't you? I wanted to keep her safe, is all. I thought I could coddle her. I thought I could keep her safe from harm. But in truth, I was just trying to control her. Keep her out of danger. But danger follows her no matter what.
Yeah? Ye still ain't saying nothing that I need to hear. Where is me Nos?
Your Nos is... Our Nos is with Timora right now.
No.
I'm sorry, friend. I'm sorry.
Ye be... Start praying.
I'm trying.
Start praying. My
Would you join? Would you join me in my prayers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Please. Come inside, sit down. He begins to talk you through some generic prayer circle prayers and the supplications to Timora for assistance. And I don't know how familiar your character is with priests and their communication. I mean, you've got Kale, who has a very interesting relationship with his deity, in that his deity is a source of information that he can just question, almost. But you hear this man talking to Timora almost like a friend. During his prayers, he begins to mention tales of Nos, of the way he first met the young woman down that back alley, when it was just a misunderstanding that caused them to cross paths. He tells the wonderful tales of how he taught Nos the use of the polearm back in the day, and he continues on to mention how he thought she wasn't ready for a weapon just yet, but she went out and got one anyway. High-spirited as she was, got herself into far too many fights. But Timora had always been on her side. Thank you, Timora, for always looking after Nos. In this moment, his prayers turn to sincere supplication, just like someone begging another person. Please, Timora, if there is anything that we can do to see Nos again, please bless us with that opportunity. It's soft. It's a very warm relationship that he has with Timora, which is a refreshing thing for you with the kinds of people that you've been engaging with lately. But all in all, during the prayers, there's no grand revelation. There's no huge break in the sky where the heavens open up and the gods tell you, here's Nos, and this is why. Though you can tell he's waiting for that sort of thing, as he is deathly silent after finishing his prayers.
Timora, I be beseeching ye. I know more than be close to me. So I until I met Nos, I never heard of ye. But I do know that the gods exist. Now I do know that Nos left me way too soon. She helped me finish the job that needed to be done. But I'd be asking you, I'd be beseeching ye, I'd be begging ye, bring me back me Nos. Tell me what I needs to do. If he wants me life, he's got it. But tell me what I need to do to bring back me Nos. Please. I'm begging you.
With no response, as of right now, with no word from the gods, the next few minutes turn into an hour of just silence within his temple, within his little shrine. Eventually, he'll pat you on the shoulder, Wampum, and say, "It's best you go get some rest now. We can continue beseeching Timora in the morning, but you need to sleep."
Wampum will stomp out, kick anything that's in his path, and leave.
That evening, while you're asleep, Wampum, you toss and you turn. It's not a comfortable night for you. You watch over and over again Nos, even though you didn't get to see it from your vantage point or anything, but you get it played back over and over again, Nos being knocked down and Nos being kicked off the side of the platform, her body hitting the lava and burning away. Moments flash before your eyes of previous encounters where Nos has charged in to help you and fight at your side and been knocked down during the fight. She's been picked up. Luck has been on her side a lot of cases, but she has fallen in battle on a few occasions by your side. During this nightmare, a voice speaks through the distance, a stern voice. Why? Why do you deserve her? What have you done to deserve the right to demand Nos back from her rest?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I can tell you that she completes me. She is one half of Wampum Thunderbelly. She's the good side of me. She keeps me sane. She keeps me the lawful dwarf that Wampum Thunderbelly once was. The evilness that has come across, the evilness that we have seen. She's the one that has always been there to calm this old dwarf down. I should have been the one that fell. It was me mission to go in there. It was me revenge, not hers. She went there because of me, for me, to be at me side. And now she's not. I've lost my right hand. I need me Nos. I need me Nos back. That be
you speak of your need. She rests in a peaceful state, at home with her God, at home with family. She rests from all the dangers your bloodlust has taken her to. You need her. Does she need you?
That I don't know. But yes, maybe I am being selfish. Maybe I am asking something that can't be done. She is resting, like you say, at home. Maybe she deserves to be home. Maybe I need to continue on my own. Maybe I just need to let this go. Hard for me to let it go. Nos be me kin. It's a tough decision, you see. Now, if I can do anything to please ye, to bring her back, I'd be doing that tenfold. But if you be saying that she be happy by your side, then that'd be good enough for me. I'd be finishing me own quest, me own life. I be missing her, but she be at a better place.
Roll a persuasion check, Wampum.
Persuasion. That is a 21.
At the highest peak of Dragonspear Castle, prove you deserve Nos's companionship. Then you wake up like a nightmare had woken you up, sweating profusely, barely having gained any sort of rest, but it is close to dawn. The sun is beginning to rise far in the east. The temple is protecting you. You slept in the temple for the night, but that castle that's 2 days away just immediately looms in your mind.
I'll go over and I'll wake up the priest. I don't know who it be, whether it be Chimera or whether it be Morden. But I was told in me sleep to spire at Dragon Castle, the Dragonspire Castle. At the top of it, I'd be finding me answers to Nos.
Well,
I need to go get me group.
let's go.
So Wampum will run around and wake everybody up very excitedly. You know, wake up, wake up! I found me Nos, I found me Nos.
Where is she?
Dragonspire Castle. The very top of it.
Well, that thing over there?
I think there's a test that I need to complete. They said that I need to prove why Nos needs to be back by my side.
Who said?
Don't know whether it be Timora or where it be Morden, but one of them did.
What did the voice sound like?
A far-off, stern, tight father figure, you might say. But they did say that I had to explain why I needed me Nos. And I had to explain to him what Nos meant to me. Maybe I was a little greedy, but they said that I'd be at the top of that spire. I'd be going through a test to bring back me Nos to me side.
All right.
If you need my assistance, I'll be with you.
Yeah.
I didn't get much sleep, but let's go.
All right. Let's ready the horses, get them watered, and let's get away from the swamp, hopefully.
No. I mean, you're going to be right on the edge of the swamp.
It goes on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, the next 2 days that combine between you and the Dragon Spear, Dragonspear Castle could quite possibly be the longest 2 days you have ever had, as the castle just almost seems to not get any closer. It's not until you get to the end of the 2 days that finally the road meets this castle. The castle is in ruins. It has, once you're closer to it, long since been abandoned. The road cut through it winds past some broken battlements, some fallen bridges and doors, and cuts through the castle in a place that indicates some army walked through this space at that point. Once you get to Dragonspear Castle, Wampum, and the entire party, what do you do? How do you approach this castle?
On the way there, at first I would try and recall anything that I might have heard about Dragonspear Castle, because we're getting pretty close to Fort Tamall, so it's not... I don't think it would be unreasonable to expect that I had heard of some stories from people that came through it at some point. But that's up to you. So yeah, whatever I can recall about it normal, I would try to recall, and if I don't feel like that's enough, I will legend lore it before we get there.
So you have heard is... Oh, hello?
Yeah,
Hello.
you're back.
You're back.
You cut out for a second there, but...
You were gone for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm still here. One of the things, just casually, you heard previously is the idea that Dragonspear Castle is a mysterious place that is, while it's ruins during the day, the folklore is that people tell kids of that particular area is that you shouldn't go near it at night. When the mists surround Dragonspear Castle, the castle takes on a whole different attitude. So that's what you remember having heard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still use a legend lore spell based on what you've heard?
Yep.
All right. So, Dragonspear Castle is a legendary place. It was built by an adventurer named Deros after he found a wealth of gems in a sunken dwarven settlement. Dragonspear Castle was erected above the very caverns where that settlement, fallen Canaglim, was interred. 200 years ago, sorcerous machinations brought about the fall of Deros and the opening of an infernal portal in the depths of the castle. After that event, Dragonspear's ruins were occupied by hobgoblins and a myriad bands of bandits, until Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate sent troops to root them out. Discovering that the portal yet existed, but unable to destroy it, they established the Hold of Battle Lions, a fortified temple to Tempus, in an attempt to prevent anything from coming through. In time, though, devils broke through the new portals inside the castle walls and overran the defenders. So this stronghold that was once a home to hobgoblins was built by a wealth found within a dwarven settlement and has different attitudes and atmosphere at night. Is the one that apparently the fate of Nos is hidden within.
Mm-hmm.
Wampum, when he gets there, he just makes a straight beat to the door to the spire.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make an effort to just keep up with him, but
Yeah, Taslim will follow behind.
Right. You start looking for a door, looking for some entrance to any of the towers. Roll perception checks.
22.
not great. What's my freaking perception? I don't have proficiency in that. Golly, 11.
I got
11.
I got a 15 with a 23 passive.
Right. So while you guys are looking for a doorway in, some way to get into this castle structure, this ruined building, it seems almost to refuse you. You swear on multiple occasions you see a door. It's you turn a corner and there's a door. Okay, you run over to the door, but by the time you get there, a stray leaf passes by your vision, and the door's no longer there. A cloud reaches up and almost pulls the doors away before you even get to them. Some force is keeping any sort of doorway away from you and hiding the way.
They be strong magic here.
Indeed.
Taslin, do you have your wand?
I do, and I'll pull out my Wand of Secrets and give it a flick and say the magic word.
Okay. You detect the presence of a secret door, but for the first time, the wand acts weird. Okay? It clearly detects the presence of a secret door, and you can tell that it's a secret door and not just a trap. But normally, when it detects that within 30 feet of you, it would turn and it would lead you towards that location. This thing is vibrating heavily. It's almost about to shatter with the amount of movement and vibrations it wants to make. It's failing to locate a specific secret door. Almost at the same time, it's trying to show you every angle,
Right,
as well as saying
it's, like, moving?
no angle at all.
Okay. Am I able to,
because the
like,
secret door is
cancel it
moving.
out and just be like, whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll do that before it shatters.
What was that?
It seems there is a secret door or a trap in effect, and perhaps the door is always moving and that's the trick to it, and my wand can't pinpoint it, as it is always traveling.
Well, you the magic kinds, can't ye dispel something or do something to get us in?
I can try. And I'll pull out my spellbook and start flipping through the pages, looking to see what spells I have available. Which I did not take Dispel Magic today. I don't have Dispel Magic today. I can't dispel anything. I can certainly counterspell something if it's cast at us.
So I don't believe a door be casting spells at us.
I'm gonna start investigating, like the wall, of the tower itself, kind of feeling it out. Whenever I see a door, I'm going to be kind of actively looking to see if there's any shift in the tower itself, where it's moving to try and gauge whether I can predict where it may move to, if it's set locations, or if it's actively avoiding us.
Okay. Investigation check. And while you're making this, did Kale share the information that he remembers or used to the rest of the party?
While Tazlin's looking around, I guess he'll approach Wampum and just say, "Look, Dragonspear Castle has a nasty history with devils, so just be careful and just keep that in mind."
So have me axe ready.
I meant more psychologically, emotionally. Does that make sense to you?
No.
So they have devils, in case you don't know, they like to trick people. So just be wary of that you may be being tricked. It's possible.
And
If a devil tricks me, he'd be losing his head.
They may not have to put their head in a position to be lost in order to communicate with and trick you. All right? It might not be a problem that you can solve with an axe. Just any offers you've been made, anything that you've been told by any disembodied voices at any point in time, Just really think very critically about the things that you're told before you make any decisions. I know that's hard for you to do, but you need to really try.
Wampum will step back and he'll look all the way up to the top of the spire.
Am I still in earshot of Kale while I'm doing the...
Mhm.
Okay.
So what's your result?
All right, let me roll. That would be a 29.
29. Okay. There is some form of pattern to the doors and the way that they are appearing to you, and the pattern that you can ascertain is purely the furthest away from you it can possibly be. That's entirely what it is. When one door disappears, the next one is as far away from you as it could be, around as many corners and through as many breaks and rubble archways. It's clear with your investigation that the tower itself, the castle, is messing with you, as Kale says. It's playing with you guys, and it's just trying to get you tired, running back and forth across this castle structure, searching for that door.
So if it's always moving the farthest it possibly could, could I ascertain that there is a way to trick it? Like, if the spell that whatever was going into it to trick us was, like, it has to move the furthest away. If we were all positioned at even spots...
Not really.
Okay.
It's not specific.
That's what I was trying
to... exactly as far away from you as possible,
Yeah.
but it's clear that the motion of the door, the pattern to the door, is purely get you guys wasting time.
Okay. So I'll kind of push back from the wall. The doors are wasting our time. It's trying to get us tired, and I quite honestly don't think it's worth chasing these doors.
So why it be making us tired? What?
Probably because someone or something wants to eat us.
So we gotta wait and let them come to us.
What time of day is it?
Early afternoon, maybe. We've got a couple hours before sundown.
We might have to wait until night.
Okay, so we be waiting.
And what do we know about this location, besides that demonic individuals may have devilish? Different.
At night, I've heard stories from people that used to pass through over the Borskier Bridge. They would say that this place, during the day, is just another ruin, but at night it takes on a more malevolent aura, mists surround it, and it is to be avoided. The castle was built originally over a dwarven settlement that contained a lot of gems, but an infernal portal opened up, and everything got all screwed up, because that's what devils do.
So, underneath this tower, we can assume this ruin is still present, and this portal is still present as well, and active?
It may be. There have been efforts by major powers in the area, like Baldur's Gate and Waterdeep, to clean it up. There was a temple to Tempest here, who was a god of war and storms, that they tried to... they tried to have a bunch of warriors stationed here, holy warriors here, to keep it under control, but it didn't really work out. As far as infernal incursions are concerned, there hasn't been news of any large-scale sort of activity of that type in some time.
Well, what I'm going to do is I have purchased a new spell and transcribed it over our travels into my spellbook to summon numerous familiars. I can see and hear through these familiars, and I'm going to try and find an opening down beneath the tower and send bats in to map it out and see if there's anything going on below.
So you're going to be looking specifically for a an entrance to the ancient dwarven settlement below Dragon Spear Castle?
Yeah, I mean, Taslin's just trying to map it out and verify that there's nothing that may be coming up actively or is like setting up traps for us.
Alright, cool.
Taislin,
So, yeah.
can
Yes?
we also look for like windows up there? Because I can make us fly if that would also be helpful.
Taslin kind of rubs his eyes and closes them, and then he's going to telepathically command Iskar to fly up the tower if possible. And then
He flies up towards the higher points in the tower. There are some old windows within the spears, the spires within the towers proper. And as he starts exploring, most of it looks dark, ruined on the inside. Do you instruct him to go inside?
not yet. First to verify that
Okay.
there are ones, and then as he's doing that, I'd close my eyes and I'd be blind as I'm seeing through him, and I'd kind of like reach for one of my companions, grab
Yeah.
onto Lefkato. There are windows. I can try to have him find if they open from the outside. I doubt they would, but I can try and have him break one of these, go full force at it, and then when I conjure other familiars, we could hand them a rope, and between the two of them, they could potentially fly it up through.
Well, if there's a window, we can just all fly and break it if it's even closed.
There are windows, but we don't know if they're trapped. We don't know if at the last second they'll close in on us.
It's true.
I would much rather sacrifice a pawn than a rook in this, and I can always resummon a familiar.
Do what you want to do, mate. I've got the spell if we want to use it.
Alright, so I will have Iskar try to open one of the windows. Or at least
Okay.
look for a window that he could open.
So most of the windows are ruined. Most of the upper towers are still in that ruined state, and he'll be able to find one that doesn't require any sort of, that doesn't have any glass or anything in it, so he can just kind of crash through, go in through it, and he'll pop into one area. It's inside a spiral staircase that leads up the tower. As he goes up, well, it's blocked off by rubble. He goes down, it's also blocked off by rubble. Comes
So it, like,
out of that
tries to trap
window, goes to another window, goes in, and while this one's in a corridor that connects two towers together, it seems open with large doors on either side. Your familiar can't get through those doors, but they could be openable. I mean, you don't know. Comes out. There are still more towers high above that he could go and explore if he wanted. Do you have the creature go up even higher?
I'll be conveying this, like, as he's going, like, as I'm seeing it. I would have him go further, and then, the rubble that kind of prevents his way, I would have him try and kind of, not nestle through it, but, like, test whether it's an illusion, and we're just all being fooled by illusionary rubble, but that we could very well just go through.
Definitely physical barriers that stop. As the familiar tries to make its way up, there's a crack of thunder, and the clear skies suddenly turn dark and grey, break open very quickly, and a torrential pour down of rain starts concentrating specifically on this area, or the 5 miles radius around this specific space. The rain is so heavy, your creature can't fly and keep up with the speed, and so gets pushed back down.
Okay. And when he gets pushed back down, does the rain go away, or is it just a solid storm? Constantly.
It continues going for the next 8 hours.
All right. Does the Raven come crashing to the ground, or is it just enough to land?
It's enough to force it down, not to knock it down, but just
Okay.
it can't keep going up, so it might as well come down. But now it's pouring it down with rain for all of you. The Raymond, the priest of Timora, is willing to open up his wagon to open up a cover so that you can get some cover from the rain while it's doing all of this. But the weather did suddenly turn, and you can tell it was because something was trying to get up.
Well, Wampum, if you intend to climb this tower, I would be prepared for lightning
Aye.
and rain. Low visibility, and everything getting in your way.
That's all right. Dwarves float.
That reminds Tazlin to cast water breathing on everybody. Were there any landings up in the tower by any chance? Like
When you say
Flat
landings, you mean like a balcony?
yeah.
No, there are no balconies, but there were enough points that your familiar could go through that were into the tower through open breaks, not just windows, but like shattered portions of the tower itself. Large holes that medium-sized creatures could easily fit through, all up in these upper portions.
Okay, because that was my thought, is theoretically I could use the amulet to plane shift in a larger area with everybody, because now I've seen it and I'm familiar with it.
True.
Vision.
Yep. Theoretically.
Theoretically. And I'd be saying this out loud, just kind of like, well. However, my concern is we already know doors shift around. We know that rubble is in our way. Say I plane shift us up there. Suddenly there are no doors and no window.
Well, then we fly back down.
My goal is not to get us trapped.
Well, if you can use the amulet to get us up there, you probably get us out of there the same way, right? If we were trapped.
In theory, or unless something prevented us from plane shifting, in which case we'd be stuck there, and that would be that.
Well, then it becomes a problem that can be solved with an axe.
Aye.
Kale,
Well-
your thoughts on this?
Taslin, I'd be saying, oh, I can't believe I'd be saying this. Go ahead and teleport me up there.
Just you?
Well, hold on. Great plan B.
I knew he was going to pipe in.
Out of character, can I, while he was doing all that, can I have been trying to observe these doors myself, with my knowledge of Arcana, trying to determine the nature of the door, if it's a certain kind of spell, or if it's something someone's controlling, or something like that.
Yeah, roll an Arcana check.
That would be a 31.
Nice. So when these doors appear, they appear to be somewhat of an illusion type spell, and this whole thing, and in fact, looking at the whole place, the whole thing seems to be an extremely powerful and effective illusion.
Oh. Okay.
The kind of illusion that is made reality, almost. That intense of an illusion.
Interesting. Okay, I will. After learning that, I'll get some of the magic mushroom goop that I made, so I can see God. And I will just dab it in my eyeballs and cast True Seeing.
What are the specific benefits of true seeing?
True seeing gives creature I touch the ability to see things as they actually are. For the duration, I have true sight. I notice secret doors hidden by magic, and I can see into the ethereal plane, all out to a range of 120 feet.
Okay.
So true sight, I believe, means I can see through illusions, I think.
Yeah, you can see things as they really are.
Right.
So, for one moment, you see into the border ethereal between here and the ethereal plane. It is filled with an entire army of hobgoblins, all stalking this entire building, all in ghostly spectral form, all of which trying desperately to gain control over this building from the ethereal plane. But they are being kept out by the same means. Your ability to see things that are invisible, or see things as they truly are, allows you to see something at the heart of the storm that is just above the peak of Dragonspear Castle. A creature that is almost floating in midair just above the castle, shining like a golden beacon. Is a Kirin. You would know a Kirin
Is it celestial?
as a celestial being.
Okay. And just to be clear, like true sight, if it's like a shape changer or something, I can see its original form.
This is its original form.
Okay.
But it'll notice that you can see it. And so not long after you can see this thing, does it dispel your, or it tries to at least. It is going to cast Dispel Magic to dispel your true seeing.
Okay. If it's it's a 6th level spell, so I don't know if it has 6th level slots or whatever.
It does. It's not casting it at 6th level, but what is its spellcasting abilities? Charisma. Yeah, that's 23. So.
Well, all right then.
So this entity is in control of the tower, and it's what is stopping you.
Okay. But I got like a decent look at it before it did.
100%. Yeah, you know what this thing is. This is you've dealt with celestials before. This is a huge creature.
Mm-hmm.
It is a celestial, a lawful good entity. So for it to be keeping you out, it has reasons.
Okay. I will. Would you say I'm familiar with it?
For what purpose are you asking that? Ask me the real question.
I want to cast sending to talk to it.
No, sending won't work.
Okay. So I mentioned, like, at that point, like, I had been doing all this stuff while Tasm was doing his thing, and then that would be the point at which I would have said, like, hold on, good plan B. Plan A, though, should probably involve the huge celestial being that's floating above the spire right now.
I'll go.
Nice.
What?
I get, it's apparently controlling the door and doesn't want us to go in. I will look up and I'll shout, like, what must we do to gain entry? Yes. I'll do it in Celestial too, because I know.
Yeah, you'll do it in Celestial too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. A voice will call down that is very similar, if not identical, to the voice that Wampum heard in his dreams, and so Wampum would recognize this voice speaking out to you all. You already know what change must occur before entrance is permitted.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
So, change. So, does that mean that daylight need to change to night?
Change.
And bingo was his name-o.
See, us dwarves are not so stupid.
So you must wait till nightfall to be able to enter.
All right, but could you stop the rain maybe until then?
The rain will stop.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we just have to wait until nighttime. And also, I should probably mention, there's like a whole army of hobgoblin spirits all around us in the ethereal plane right now, and with misty stuff happening at night, that probably means it probably like maybe overlaps with material plane a little bit. So there might be a lot of hobgoblin warrior ghosts that may or may not accost us at nighttime. So just be ready for that.
Oh joy!
So I reckon, Kale, you might have mentioned to us about your excursion in Waterdeep with the statues.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's been like 20 days or something since then, so I'm sure it got brought up.
Would it be of interest to dip our toes into that ethereal plane and see if these hobgoblins want to chat?
Probably not. They didn't seem like they would be interested in having a talk with us. They seemed very preoccupied.
Yeah, they're clearly sieging the castle. They're attacking the castle.
That.
Okay.
So do I get a feeling that I know like when exactly nighttime would be, when the change will happen?
Probably when the mist comes, right?
Yeah.
Right,
so in about 3 or 4 hours, night begins to set in. Judging by your current position in terms of the world map, the map of things, stuff, you guys are right on the edge of the High Moors. The sun would be setting in the west, and so there is a point, probably in about 2 hours, you should probably say, where the sun will actually dip below a mountain range that is just southwest of your current position. And it is when the shadow of the mountains crests over the castle that you can assume night begins here. And that's going to be in about 3 hours.
Okay. So I don't know. When we walked up, it looked like the door was just like it appeared in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I mean, so my plan is I'm going to wait until that happens, or if it happens, that it's nighttime and then the door appears. I'm going to tell everybody, give me 1 minute. I'm going to get out some powdered silver and holy water and make a magic circle, kind of like in front of the door, a la the magic circle spell, to hedge out any undead elementals, fae, or fiends.
Fair enough. Yeah.
During this time, Taslin would be searching for that any entrance to below the tower to use the flock familiars.
There will be, from the moment the sun dips below the mountain peaks, there will be about an hour between when the shadows have creeped over Dragonspear Castle, but it is not actually nighttime for the world, where everything's kind of in this transition period. You will have night during the day, and it's then that the entrance to this space will open up. And that's where we're going to pause right now. hobgoblins, devils, and unicorns. Oh my. Now, Paula, we will actually end our session here tonight. We usually would take a break, but instead we're going to be ending as needs to run off and do things. So join us next week as we go into Dragonspear Castle with hopes of finding Nos. Who knows? Join us next week. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Good night.